You learn a song, you play it all the way through, and for a moment, it feels like you've leveled up. But let me ask you this, can you use any of it? Because most players don't learn songs, they memorize them. Let me show you the difference. Let's say I just learned this iconic guitar lick. Now, I can learn that, memorize it, and be able to play it and think, yeah, I'm pretty good for learning that. But the second the song stops, so do you. But now take a look at this. So I took a small idea from that lick and then I threw in some other stuff that I knew and just made it my own. And all it took was just a couple little changes for it to sound completely different. So aside from learning that lick, let's say I were to take just that part of it, right? And then just turn it into something else. So instead of playing it, let's say in this order, like what I did in that first example, I just kind of did it backwards, right? Where I started up here and then worked it into like an E minor pentatonic thing. You know, so it just kind of worked into this thing where I was like kind of working it down, and then once I got into the scale pattern, then just kind of working it into a lick like that, right? So that's just an example of like extracting something from a famous song, right? Or a song that I really love or love to play, and then just using it to actually fuel my own creative ideas. It inspires you to start coming up with your own ideas that you wouldn't have otherwise thought of had you not been inspired in the first place. And it doesn't have to be a lick, it can be a chord progression. Like literally anything that you could pull from a song that you already know how to play or a song that you plan to learn how to play, right? It's a way from going from, instead of just memorizing it, to where you only know the song because of reading the tab or the chord chart or whatever, and then being able to actually pull from it so you really understand the mechanics of the song, like what makes the song tick, what are the elements of the song, the tonality, the scales used, the chord progressions, all that kind of stuff, right? Because you can pull all kinds of original musical ideas from that. And by doing that, you become less dependent on tabs and sheet music, and you can actually rely more on your ear, because your ear is helping you kind of pull these things. Because you'll tell yourself like, I like this idea, I'm gonna pull that out, I'm gonna repurpose it and turn it into something else, you know? And then you're using that sort of musical sensibility that you have, and everyone has their own unique take on it. And that's how it can encourage these original ideas. I mean, really every song is a gold mine for original musical ideas. Of course, you can celebrate the song or celebrate the artist, you know, by playing their music, but don't stop there is what I'm saying. Just take the opportunity to learn some musical ideas from it. So when you learn a song and instead of just memorizing it, you find ways to make it your own, this is actually what makes you better and makes you more of a musician. Not copying, but extracting and using. By the way, if you're getting value out of this lesson, do me a favor, hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. Now, if you want to take the song example that I've been using and use it yourself, let me show you some fun ways that you can change it up. So we already talked about how instead of going from, I went the other way, all right? But you can also do it on a different string. Check this out. So originally it's an E, you know, but if you did it on the high E string, now it's an A minor, so you can work that in with like an A minor pentatonic. You can do something like this. You know, it's just like another little way to inject some flavor into your A minor pentatonic licks, you know? And you can do the same thing where you're not only moving it to a new string, but you can go, that's a pretty cool lick on its own right there. Yeah, like follow it up with like just a blues lick, you know? So there's all kinds of ways that you can take this and just really make it your own. Don't be shy, like try stuff out. Because if you can't use what you learned, I don't think you really learned it. And speaking of learning, if you want a whole system that'll show you exactly how to learn what is arguably the most important thing on guitar, then you're really gonna love what I got for you. This is a free lesson on how to instantly solo in any key, one of the most important skills for any guitar player, and pretty much the barrier of entry to being a professional. This will show you step by step on how to find every key on your fretboard in record time and how to solo in those keys, both major and minor. Just be sure to click here to grab your copy, or if you're watching this on TV, scan the QR code with your phone or check the link that I left for you in the description box. See, what I've noticed about great guitar players is what makes them great is not the fact that they know more songs, but they know how to get more out of them.